Hello everybody, today we're gonna make a YouTube video about the electricity situation in Iraq. We all know that in Iraq we have the fifth most oil reserves in the world. And every time we talk about rebuilding Iraq, they say, why do you rely so much on the Americans? Why do you want the Americans to fix all your situation? It's now 10 past 5 p.m. Usually the electricity cuts out around these times for 2 hours and comes back at 7 p.m. for us. The reason for that is a very big and complicated reason that today I wanted to discuss. Why is there no electricity in Iraq, a country with the fifth most oil reserves in the world? So we're going to start by going through this as a story from 1991 until today, not from 1999. Unfortunately, it was 8 years before 1999. So now the Ministry of Electricity employs about 200,000 people in Iraq. And they've spent $50 billion since 2003 to rebuild the electricity system in Iraq, a country that has the fifth most oil reserves in the world. Before Iraq invaded Kuwait in 1991, we had 5,220 megawatts capability to produce electricity. And at that time, that sufficed all of Iraq. This is before America bombed 97% of all the power stations in Iraq. When they and the coalition attacked Iraq in 1991, they used 2,278 planes. And they committed 112,000 airstrikes in Iraq. 191,000 tons of explosives were used. That's 7 Hiroshimas. And I can already understand where this is going. Someone's going to say, well, why do you rely on America? Why do you always want America to fix your problems? This is exactly why I'm making this video. So that by the end of this video, we will understand why we blame, who we blame, and we don't put the blame on America fully. However, after you listen to the story properly, you will understand. When they attacked Iraq in 1991, they used forbidden cluster bombs so that these power stations couldn't be refixed. They couldn't be repaired anymore. You would have to build completely new ones. In 2003, when the USA and the coalition invaded Iraq again, they again attacked the main power stations in all of Iraq. There's a light flickering there. I don't know if it's because we're talking about electricity or because I should just switch it off. 1 second. We are back. Yes. So after 2003, a new government was formed in Iraq, and the Ministry of Electricity was formed. In charge of that was put a man, his name is Aham As-Samarai. He is now missing. He stole so much and had many accusations of corruption and theft, and he now holds an American passport and is gone. He's left Iraq. From 2003 till 2006, Iraq's capability was raised. Electricity producing capability was raised from 0 to 4,280 megawatts. So at the time, this was already half what Iraq needs. But every time we reach a level of capability, the country needs more electricity because cities are growing and so forth. Everyone understands that. From 2006 till 2013, 50 trillion Iraqi dinar was spent on rebuilding the rest. And Iraq's megawatt capability increased to 10,000 megawatts. By 2018, we were supposed to be able to produce 27,000 megawatts. But instead, we were only able to produce 13,000, which is less than half, due to corruption and bad maintenance and a very specific part of this story, which we're going to get to. Right now, Iraq produces 20,000 megawatts, but we require 35. Remember how before I told you in 1991 we only needed 3,500? Now it's 10 times that, 35,000 megawatts. And here we're going to get to the part of the story that's very interesting and that anyone in the Iraqi government won't tell you about. I just want to check if the camera is still working. So, In 2008, Iraq signed a deal with the American company GA, General Atomics. And in 2013, when Iraq saw the success that the German company Siemens had with the building of the electricity systems in Egypt, Iraq wanted to sign a deal with Siemens. But even Joe Kaiser, his name is Joe Kaiser, yes. Joe Kaiser himself, the head of Siemens, said this to the TV channel DW. He said that we were stopped from signing a very big contract in Iraq by Donald Trump himself. America itself, the government itself got involved and didn't let them sign this contract with Iraq because they wanted to remain in control of the Iraqi power supply. So they're the ones who destroyed it. They're the ones who stayed in control of it. Destruction and then construction. They got paid for the destruction and they're getting paid for the construction. In 2008, the Iraqi government signed a $2.8 billion deal with GA. 17 years now has passed since this deal with GA was signed. And GA still has not fulfilled its promises with the Iraqi government. The deal was that within 6 months, they start rebuilding the electricity stations, and the first one would be running within 6 months, and that they would start training the Iraqis on maintaining and working in these stations. The first lie was that the first station wasn't up and running within 6 months. It took 3 years for the first station to run and 9 years for the last remaining stations to start running. So they took a lot of time. The second lie was that these stations, that's what they told the Iraqi government, these stations are going to be able to run on 52 different fuel sources. 52 different types of fuel sources. So basically you can urination into the station and it will work. That's the lie that they told us. Instead, no, it runs on black gas, on a very certain type of fuel that we are now importing from Iran. And we are basically stuck. They all work on natural gas only. The Americans aren't the only one involved in this corruption. Of course, the American companies, and with Donald Trump getting involved himself in this, have made a lot of money by lying to the Iraqis in rebuilding these power stations. But many Iraqi parties were involved also. One person called Ali Shmara, who stole more than 54 billion US dollars. He's now missing as well. And we are left here in Iraq, stuck. The electricity turns off in the 50-degree weather, 50 degrees Celsius. That's about 130, 140 Fahrenheit. I'm not too sure exactly. And when we speak about this and we say that the Americans have penetration us from the back, they say, why do you rely on Americans so much? Why don't you rebuild your country? We have spent all of this money trying to rebuild our country. But the people in charge of rebuilding this country are unfortunately the Americans. So that's the story. In short and in long, this is the story of why there is no electricity in Iraq. This is a story that I just wanted to tell people because I've received many messages and many people ask me, why do you blame America for this or that or that? We aren't blaming anyone for anything that they haven't done. We are blaming certain groups or certain people or certain governments for things that they have destroyed and are continuing to destroy until today. See you later. And because they used us, we are using them for merch on Is the Bruce Point UK, United Condom, United Gays of America. Guess where is me, Mr. Sister Twister, Trans Blender, Gender Adventure, and so much more things, to be honest. Very nice. Let's turn this on. This is the AC system in the house. Make it a little bit cold. I turned off because of the noise that it would make. That's where I was sitting. Here's my living room. Yeah, I'm gonna try to make more YouTube videos See you later. Here's the view from my back door. This is my palm tree that I've been growing for the last few years. And see these dried leaves, I need to cut them. The more you cut, the more it keeps growing. It's almost Maghrib time. You can see the moon there. Oh my god, half moon. It's the half of the month now.